Hello and welcome back. This is part 2 of the Unit 13 graded assignment. So you should have already completed the part 1. If you haven't, you need to complete part 1 before you come to part 2. Your image will look something like what you see on the screen here. So to continue on our add image, these last steps are pretty easy. We're going to add some text. So in our toolbox, we're going to click the text tool. And somewhere in the top of the image window, maybe inside the gradient, we're going to type some headline text for our ad. So be thinking like this is an ad for something. What would this be an ad for? So be clever and creative. Let's see here. Travel to the moon is what I'm going to say. Now here with the text, you can select it. You can, in the tool options, you can change the font to anything you like. You can change the size, the color, etc. Anything you want, you do down here using these tool options. With the color, you want to make sure that it is absolutely visible on the background. You want to be able to see it. That's the one thing there. Okay. So after you have your text how you like it, you change the size, the font, the color. Make sure that text layer is still selected. And then we're going to use the script view menu to add some layer effects. You must add at least one. You can use whichever ones you like, but if you don't really know what to start with, consider starting with a stroke, which is just a border. So my dialog box is down here. Remember, you can change the color. The size. And I'm going to merge it with the layer so it's added on. If you don't like how it happened, because I can't really see my text now, I'm going to undo the stroke. I'm going to use my script view menu again. And I'm going to leave this at 1. Then I'm going to change it to a darker color. I like that a little better. And then I'm actually going to add another layer effect here. And I'm going to do an outer glow. I think I'll do this in green. And you can change anything here that you'd like. I'm going to merge this with the layer as well. And there you have it. My script view effects have been added. So you can play around with that until you have at least 1, if not 2, added using any of those script view layer effects. Okay, so now we're going to add a new layer. So in the layer menu, you're going to click Layer, New Layer, and here you want this to be named Shape. We want transparency to be selected, and then we're going to click OK. So you want your shape layer, select your shape layer to be at the top of your layers list. Okay, so what you're going to do with shape is you're going to draw a shape. You can draw whatever shape you want. Now, this is an ad, so I'm going to draw travel to the moon. I'm going to draw my version of a rocket. You can draw whatever you like. Any shape, honestly, will do. So I'm going to select my paths tool, and in the image window, I'm going to use the paths tool to draw the shape on the image. So here's my attempt at a rocket, you guys. Really simple. So when you get to your starting point, you're simply going to hold the Control key and then click on that first anchor point. Okay. If you don't like the path shape, you can undo and redo there. You can always click and drag the anchor points as well to adjust the shape. Now you're going to set the foreground color to black. So just reset these foreground and background colors with the background color to black. In the toolbox, you'll still have this paths tool selected. In the tool options, you're going to click the stroke path button right here. And then in the dialog box, you want the line width, to be 1. And then you're going to click stroke. Oops. There we go. Okay, now you're going to click the bucket fill tool, and you're going to see your shape much more clearly. Now you're going to click the scale tool, and you're going to adjust the size Hold on one second. Okay, you need to add some color. Skipped a step there. So with your foreground background color, you're going to add color to this shape. So choose whatever color you want. You do want it to be visible. And then with the bucket fill tool, you're going to, cancel. You need that bucket fill tool again. Now you're going to fill in that shape's color. There you go. Now we're going to use the scale tool. And you definitely don't want to be resizing anything else besides the shape. So if you're afraid you're going to snag the background, you can always hide those layers and just work with the shape layer. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we're going to scale the shape. As you're scaling, you want to just remember, what you want to keep in mind is you don't want it too big, but you don't want it too small. You want to be able to fit some text in this shape here in the next step. So over here, make sure this is locked up so that it scales proportionally. And then you can just kind of resize your shape however you would like. And then click scale. And here you can play around with the different tools we've used before of resizing it. You can use the rotate tool to kind of play around with rotating your shape. You can play around with the curve, bend, distort filter. So if you go to filter and then come down to distort, curve, bend, you can play around with this if you'd like. I don't want to do that, but you could. I'm just showing you your options. You can use the shear tool to kind of stretch it. If you remember, you can kind of change the shape here a little bit by stretching it different ways, etc., and then shear it. I didn't do much there. But you can use any of those tools to adjust the shape as you wish. So the last step is you're simply going to add some text inside of your shape. The text does need to fit inside the shape. So we're going to go back to the text tool, click inside our shape, and add some text. Remember, this is an ad, and my text is actually set to a color that I'm not going to be able to see, so I'm going to reset that to black. Okay. It's not really liking me there. There we go. Okay, mine's really generic. You can be more creative. Now you can justify the text however you want it. Change the font once again, change the size, change the color. You decide what you want to do to your text. Okay, So now, where's this text? Moon, rocket. You can adjust this here to make sure that it's fitting where you want it, etc. Just, you want that text to fit inside your shape. Okay, so with the text that's inside the shape, you're going to select that. You're going to go back to the script view menu. You're going to add some layer effects. Remember, you can use any of these. If you don't know what to add, just try a drop shadow and an outer glow. And there you go. I'm going to click on my background color just to get an idea of my image now. And my ad is complete. So these are the basic steps to create a generic ad, just showing you just the different tools and options you have. Go ahead and save, and you're done with your first image. Now remember, every single unit you must create 2 images. So you will now need to start a second image. You can literally go back to the part 1 video and repeat exactly what you did using different images. So I'll get you started. You're going to click File Open. You're going to choose a background image. File Open. You're then going to choose a different foreground image. And you're going to repeat your steps. Let's pretend that I have this 100% complete. I have all of these steps completed to this ad. I'm going to save this as make an ad, and then I'm going to save that in my Unit 13 folder. When it's all complete, yours obviously will look different than this. You'll then go to your image design folder right here, your course resource folder, Unit 13. Make sure you have both of your ads, 2 images in the folder. You can then send to a compressed zipped folder, and you are ready to drag and drop this into the assignment Dropbox. So Tools, Assignments. Go down to Unit 13. Whoops-a-daisy. Tools, Assignments, scroll down to Unit 13. And then you are going to come down to where it says add a file from your computer. You can then drag and drop in that Unit 13 folder with your fantastic ads. Whoops. Once it is 100% loaded, you're going to click Add, and then you will be ready to submit. I won't submit it. I don't want to grade my own work, and you'll be done. If you have any questions, please let me know, and good luck.